Thanks everybody for coming. I'm going to do my persuasive speech on the topic of the need to feed the hungry in our community, or your community. This is for Communication 542, and Dr. Kramer is the teacher for that. Just some facts, a little bit of facts about hunger in America. 1 in 6 people in America don't have efficient food, and they're always hungry. Not all of them, surprisingly, are homeless, because when you think of people who need to go to the soup kitchen and stuff like that, I automatically assume that they're homeless, and those are people you see in New York that you give money to. But that's not the case. Actually, 36% of them are working or were previously working individuals, usually in rural areas that now cannot afford to feed their family, and they have to choose between paying the bills or feeding their family. So 17% of people interviewed that struggle with the issue of not having enough food were attended college or technical school. I don't know the graduation rates, but at least they're not obviously not all homeless bums who have never tried anything in their lives. They're real people, and the real issue is the fact that there are less jobs now than there were before. Over 2 million rural homes don't have sufficient access to food. Like I stated earlier, these people live out in the country area. They used to have jobs and used to be able to bring home food to their family, but now with no jobs they can't do it. Urban isn't as much, the urban areas like inner city, they don't struggle as much with the lack of food as the rural areas again. Also, it's a lot tougher for people out in the country to get access to food at food banks because they're not inside the city. With inner city people, they have more access to more soup kitchens and food banks. Those are just some of the facts. And 65% of kids go to school hungry every day. I worked in a school. I saw it every day. Kids would come up and say, "Hey, Mr. Ford, do you have a snack?" And sometimes I would give it to them, but sometimes if you give this kid too many snacks, it's, they take advantage of you, so you have to find the barrier. So someone's got to be the bad guy. The effects from that children's growth, not only physically, but cognitively also. So within school, the kid's not getting the nutrition he needs, so he can't function in the classroom every day. His performance is going to be down. And also health risks. These kids develop headaches and stomach pains. And again, in school, if a kid's there trying to learn math and writing, and they can't because they're thinking about how hungry they are, and I wonder if I get a snack when I get home, first of all, they can't, exceed as a student, and also they have issues that, kids should never ever have. I really believe that we should make a difference, and the church needs to be involved in it. Also, they need to be aware of this issue, and they need to take it seriously. Because we all know, we can say, "Hey, that's just too bad. So what are you guys doing later?" And just brush it off like it's nothing. And people do that all the time. I'm guilty of it. Members of our churches, we need to volunteer. We need to get out there. Volunteer once a week. It doesn't matter. Once a week is plenty, and that's more than the majority are doing. My sister, she's not even a member of a church, and she goes out and she volunteers at the soup kitchen 3 days a week because she has no job. If she's doing it because she's bored, but at least she's putting other people before her, and she's thinking of others. And if she ends up getting a meal out of it, if she's hungry, all the better. And we're called again to help those people in need. In Luke chapter 10, I believe it is, or chapter 8, God feeds the 5,000 with the loaves and the fish. He recognized the need for many people. They needed to eat, and he was able to provide that for them. So I believe that as a Christian, we need to become more Christ-like and go out there and really help the others in need when, we've been blessed, and we shouldn't take advantage of it. We need to really help. Also, as Christians, again, we need to set an example for the world. We're called to be better than everybody else. We're put on a higher standard. We're put on a pedestal by other people. People make fun of us and say bad things about us when we don't do anything right and we do the wrong things. So we need to really step up our game as a Christian and work hard towards that. Going through some business plans in my research, I saw a really good soup kitchen goal plan. that I think that people should really strive towards as a church. Again, take it seriously. The first step is obviously setting goals for that soup kitchen. Decide, a few years where you want it to be at, how big you want a separate facility from the church, you want to start at the church. Determining the cost is a big thing. Also, where your food is going to come from, getting donations from local businesses, talking to people that you know. Just market yourself. Fundraisers at the church are a big thing. Throughout the community, just really get the word out there and talk to people. And word of mouth is a huge thing. Also, a mission statement, they said, was a big thing in starting this, because you set out a goal. It's really like the pilot that's going to drive this whole plan. Once you have a mission statement of what you want to do, if you want it to be religious based, which if the church is doing it, I'm assuming that they would go towards the greater good of God, or if you want other aspects, like do you want it just to be a soup kitchen, or do you want it just to be non-perishable food items, or how many days a week do you want? Do you want every meal, or at the beginning do you want one meal a day for breakfast or something, just to get people started? So that's another thing that you really need to look at. Also, if you decide to become nonprofit, this is a big advantage, nonprofit, just because with nonprofit organizations you don't have to pay those taxes back because you're giving out to the community. Therefore, instead of paying those taxes to the government, because you're getting donations, you do not need to pay the government back. You put that back out in mouths. Also, building, obviously right off the start you won't have a ton of money to build a facility that can cost thousands of dollars to build. So you should start that as a church, work towards that, set a goal. Marketing yourselves, newsletters, phone calls, staff, volunteers. Market yourselves. If there's a newspaper, get it in there. Staff, volunteers, directors are good. They're set it up, and also you need volunteers to really make it work. The proof of that, estimated 5,000 soup kitchens across the USA. Task is an organization in New Jersey that serves 3 meals a day year-round. So that works out to be 3,500 meals a week and 175,000 meals every single year. So it is possible, and they started out with a budget of $40,000, and now they generate $2 million a year in revenue. So the plan is set up, and this is proof right here that it definitely can work if you have a perfect goal. And over 25 churches support this organization called Task. So it is possible. We need to start doing something and get out there and make a change. Thank you for listening to my speech.